In 1967, a quiet revolution began with the sound of a guitar. Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend. That haunting tune, paired with a story of confusion, rebellion, and self-discovery, became the voice of an entire generation. The film was A Graduate, and at its center were two unforgettable performances. Dustin Hoffman as Benjamin Braddock, a young man lost between childhood and adulthood, and Bancroft as Mrs. Robinson, a woman of sophistication, secrecy, and sadness. Behind this film's polished surface lies a world of strange coincidences, surprising choices, and moments that changed cinema forever. This is a story of The Graduate, told through 20 weird and fascinating facts about its stars, Dustin Hoffman and Bancroft. Fact 1. Dustin Hoffman was never meant to be the star. When casting began, no one imagined Dustin Hoffman would become the face of Benjamin Braddock. Hollywood studios wanted a handsome leading man, Robert Redford, Warren Beatty, or Jack Nicholson. But director Mike Nichols wanted something else. He wanted authenticity. He wanted a man who didn't look like a movie star. When Hoffman walked in, short, anxious, and shy, Nichols saw truth in him. Hoffman wasn't conventionally attractive, but he embodied the alienation the story demanded. That choice changed the image of the Hollywood leading man forever. Fact 2. Bancroft almost didn't play Mrs. Robinson. Bancroft's journey to the role of Mrs. Robinson was just as unexpected. The part had been offered to several actresses, Patricia Neal, Jean Moreau, and even Sophia Loren. Each turned it down. When Bancroft accepted, she infused the character with intelligence and melancholy. Mrs. Robinson became more than a symbol of temptation. She became a woman trapped by her choices, and that made her dangerous, complex, and unforgettable. Fact 3. The real age gap was only 6 years. Here's something few people realize. Bancroft was only 6 years older than Dustin Hoffman. Just 6 years separated Mrs. Robinson from Benjamin Braddock in real life through clever lighting, heavy eye makeup, and elegant wardrobe choices. The illusion of an older woman and a younger man was born. That illusion gave their scenes a tension that felt taboo, even though the actors were nearly the same age. Fact 4. Hoffman nearly missed the role. Hoffman almost didn't make it into The Graduate at all. At the time. He had been cast in Mel Brooks's comedy Producers. When Mike Nichols called, Hoffman hesitated. But instinct told him to take a risk. He dropped out of The Producers and chose A Graduate. That single decision turned him from an unknown stage actor into a major film star. Fact 5. None of the adults have first names. There's a small but brilliant detail hidden in plain sight. No adult in The Graduate has a first name. Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Braddock, Mrs. Braddock. They are all titles, formal, distant, cold. Mike Nichols wanted them to represent authority without humanity. That subtle decision made the world around Benjamin feel sterile, fake, and suffocating. That IT was a world without identity, without warmth, a reflection of his own confusion. Fact 6. Gene Hackman was fired mid-rehearsal. Before filming began, another famous actor almost became part of the Robinson family. Gene Hackman was originally cast as Mr. Robinson. He even rehearsed for several days. But Nichols quickly realized the chemistry wasn't right. Hackman was too intense, too aggressive for the tone he wanted. He was replaced by Murray Hamilton, whose polite menace fit the story perfectly. Fact 7. The iconic leg on the poster wasn't Bancroft's. The movie's most iconic image, a young man seen through a woman's raised leg, hides another secret. That leg does not belong to Bancroft. That IT belonged to Linda Gray, a young model who was hired to pose for the poster. She was paid $25 for the session. Years later, Linda Gray would become famous on the television series Dallas, but her leg had already become a part of cinema history. Fact 8. Mrs. Robinson was written by accident. Music was another accident that changed everything. Paul Simon had been hired to write several songs for the movie. When Nichols asked him if he had anything ready, Simon said, "I've got a song about Mrs. Roosevelt." Nichols laughed and replied, "Mrs. Roosevelt? Change it to Mrs. Robinson." That offhand joke turned into one of the most famous songs ever written for a movie, Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel. Fact 9. The slap scene was real. During one emotional hotel scene, Bancroft slaps Dustin Hoffman across the face. The reaction looks painfully real because it was. Nichols believed in realism, and Bancroft delivered a genuine slap. Hoffman later said the sting of that moment helped him find Benjamin's humiliation and anger. Fact 10. Lighting told its own story. Lighting was another character in the film. Cinematographer Robert Surtees used warm amber tones to make Mrs. Robinson's world seductive, but he filled it with shadows that suggested danger and loneliness. When Benjamin enters a world, the light becomes dim, private, suffocating. Every flicker of light mirrored the emotional trap closing around him. Fact 11. Hoffman's nervousness became his superpower. Throughout filming, Hoffman was deeply nervous that he worried that he was too awkward, too unsure of himself, but Nichols recognized that those insecurities were perfect. He told him, "Don't fix it, use it." The awkward pauses, the stuttering, the discomfort, all became part of Benjamin's authenticity. What Hoffman saw as weakness became his greatest strength. Fact 12. Bancroft was haunted by Mrs. Robinson. And Bancroft later revealed that the fame of Mrs. Robinson haunted her. People stopped seeing her as an actress and began seeing her as a seductive older woman from a graduate. She once said, "I played a woman people love to hate. I didn't expect to be remembered only for her." The role that made her a star also became a shadow she could never escape. Fact 18. Hoffman modeled Benjamin after the director. Many of Benjamin's strange gestures, his nervous laughter, his fidgeting, his awkward silences, came from Mike Nichols himself. Hoffman quietly observed his director and absorbed his mannerisms. In a way, Benjamin Braddock became a reflection of Nichols' own insecurities, intelligent, self-doubting, and quietly rebellious. Fact 14. The whole film is built on guilt. Guilt runs through every frame of the movie. Mrs. Robinson's guilt for her choices, Benjamin's guilt for betraying her trust. Even the filmmaking itself is a confession, a mirror of a generation's discomfort with tradition and morality. That emotional tension is what makes The Graduate so haunting even today. Fact 15. Costumes told a hidden story. Costume design played a silent but powerful role in defining Mrs. Robinson. Her wardrobe was full of animal prints, structured silhouettes, and elegant jewelry. The leopard patterns, in particular, symbolized a predatory allure. Next to her, Benjamin's plain suits and boyish expressions made him look smaller, younger, and more confused, exactly as the story required. Fact 16. The ending wasn't planned. The ending of The Graduate remains one of the most debated moments in cinema. After the dramatic church scene, Benjamin and Elaine run onto a bus, breathless and triumphant. They sit at the back, laughing nervously. Then, slowly, their smiles fade. That wasn't scripted. Nichols told them to keep the camera rolling, and what emerged was pure instinct, the dawning realization that they might not have escaped anything at all. That quiet silence is more than any dialogue ever could. Fact 17. It became the voice of a generation. The Graduate became the voice of a generation. It spoke to young people who felt lost, who didn't trust the promises of the adult world. In 1967, it was one of the highest-grossing films ever made. It didn't offer answers. It simply reflected confusion, and audiences saw themselves in it. Fact 18. Award wins and cultural recognition. The film went on to win the Academy Award for Best Director and received 6 other nominations. Decades later, it was chosen by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry, a recognition given only to films of cultural and artistic importance. Its impact on cinema remains enormous. Fact 19. Pop culture never let it die. From The Simpsons to Wayne's World 2, countless shows and movies have parodied or honored The Graduate. The leg shot, the wedding climax, and the final bus ride have become symbols of a new kind of storytelling, ironic, human, and honest. Each tribute keeps the spirit of Nichols, Hoffman, and Bancroft alive. Fact 20. The legacy of Hoffman and Bancroft. For Dustin Hoffman, The Graduate was a role that transformed him from a struggling New York actor into one of the most respected talents in Hollywood. For Bancroft, it became both a triumph and a burden, a performance that defined her legacy but overshadowed her reign. Together, they created something raw and electric, a chemistry built on awkwardness, vulnerability, and truth. Their uneasy partnership gave life to one of cinema's most unforgettable relationships. More than 50 years later, The Graduate still feels fresh. It isn't just about youth or age. It's about feeling lost in a world that expects certainty. Hoffman once said, The Graduate was about feeling like a fraud and realizing everyone else feels the same way. That honesty is what keeps the film timeless. And Bancroft brought the fire, Dustin Hoffman brought the fear, and Mike Nichols turned both into art. The Graduate didn't just challenge the rules of filmmaking, it redefined them. And even now, it reminds every generation that growing up might be the most confusing, most terrifying, and most human story of all.